So I'm here with Carey Giudici, and he's going to tell us about an interesting project that he's working on about education. So do you want to give us a little background of how you started with this?
Well, sure. Actually, it started. I like to write children's books, so I wrote a book for my friend's grandson. And as I was writing the book, I said, I'm trying to put in enough information about him to make it interesting that he can use in the future. And I started thinking, well, why shouldn't every child have that kind of information available to them?
Yeah.
And
Sorry, use in the future. You mean like refer to it to see what kind of person he was at that stage of life, or how do you mean?
yeah, what I mean is we all have personality traits, and we all have talents, skill sets from the time we're very little. And they really don't change very much. And so when we can capture that information about a young child, we're capturing information that will really be affecting them for the rest of their lives, and will be helping them get on a certain track, a career path, or interest get on a certain track so they can decide what they want to be, what they want to study, who they want to be with. There's a lot of choices that are really germinating from a very early age. And so I believe the more we can do to capture those at an early age, the better. And it's especially important in a time in which young people are really stressed. They're very concerned. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how to make a choice. They have so many options. And they need some help, especially the ones who have a potential of becoming good leaders. They need some help in deciding, well, I should do this and not that. And so that's the kind of help for future leaders that I hope this project will provide.
Yeah. So the idea is to identify these personality traits in young people so they can see what their strengths are, and it hopefully leads them on this path to self-knowledge so they can make decisions easier in the future.
Exactly. And it's like a personal brand. A personal brand is something that we don't think about until we're looking for work, but really the personal brand is something which we have very early on. And the clearer that is, and the more clear we can be about what it is and how it works for us, then the better prepared we are to take advantage of all of those traits and talents and interests, and to not waste our time as we grow up trying to be something that we'll never be, just because society tells us that's what we should be doing.
So with the books, you told me you had an idea to individualize these books, and that's
yes, it's the idea is to ask some questions, like maybe 12 or 15 questions of a child, and based on those answers, to first write the book. So it would be a very personal book with that child's name, interests, what they like to do, if they have a special phrase that they use a lot, to make it as personal as possible. And I believe that it would make it a wonderful gift for a child to have a personal book, something they can show off to their friends and affirm their value and their quality as individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then then we talked about going further than that, so using the information that you gather to identify what these children need or who could help them.
Absolutely, because the parents are usually, especially these days, parents are as much at a loss about helping their children make decisions and make choices as the children themselves. And so this will help the whole family and any support group that child has to help them make better decisions and to make better suggestions about what they might do or what they should avoid doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then into the mentorship element of it. Can you tell me about that?
Well, yeah, I call the program, maybe this is a good time to introduce, maybe this is a good time to share the name of it. I call it SMILE, which is an acronym for Social Media International Leadership Education. And the reason I call that is, first of all, I hope it'll make everybody smile, everybody involved. But it begins with social media, because social media is a wonderful tool that I don't think is being used very effectively today. It's more to waste time or for some kind of personal, interest, very temporary interest, but nothing of lasting value. I believe social media can be a lot more than that, and it can help each of the children, once they know what they can do well, what they like to do well, and have some idea about what their vision is for the future, to connect them with experts or mentors anywhere in the world, on LinkedIn or any other social media site, to begin putting them in touch with a community of experts or teachers or mentors who can share their insights or their backgrounds or their talents with that individual child. And so I call this micro education. There's something called micro lending that started in India. Well, this is micro education because it's one child and that child's personal education, in which the experts and the mentors come to that child and become members of that child's international community for learning and for growing.
Yep. Okay, so it's like these, with the parents, of course, the parents might be walking a very different path to the children, so they don't necessarily have the knowledge required to guide the children on that path. But if you can connect them with someone who already has a similar personality and similar desires, motivations, then it's going to guide them through life that much easier. Yeah?
Absolutely. And there's so many different resources available. For example, before we connect a child with an expert somewhere in another country, we could just start showing them YouTube videos, like tutorials about the skill or the interest that they have, and let them test it out and have fun learning about it in a personal way. And then when the time is right, take it up another level and make it more academic or more productive type education. So there's so many resources out there, and I just don't believe that they're being used very efficiently right now.
Mm-hmm. So how would you obtain the experts?
Well, my twin brother, John Cooper, has been a professor for many years of mass communications. He's a PhD in mass communications. He's a professor now in Kuwait City, actually. And he developed a proprietary search engine and has a lot of experience in helping academics research a subject that they can use in their work at a university. So he, instead of doing it to benefit a professor somewhere, he will be using this technology and his background to help identify someone, to help a child, a 10-year-old child in Dubuque, Iowa, or Guadalajara, Mexico.
Yep. And so with the experts would just be involved on a voluntary basis. So it's relying on, I guess, the idea that these people want to share their knowledge.
Exactly. And there's a very good example of this, actually. About 100 years ago, an organization started in America called the 4-H Club. It was a time when agriculture was moving from family farms to larger farms. And some very smart farmers realized that they needed to have some new leadership. They needed to be able to prepare young people to become leaders in this evolving style of farming, of agriculture. And so they started the 4-H Club. I see what we're doing as the social media age version of the 4-H club, because everyone, especially the children, they're feeling very stressed these days and uncertain about the future, and not sure what to do about how they can develop their talents and skills, or which talents and skills would be best to develop. And so in a way, this is a modern version of a 4-H club, in which experts, instead of being expert farmers, they might be experts mathematicians, or scientists, or whatever, or writers, in which the experts are able to turn to their expertise and help develop a new generation of leadership for an age which is now marked by confusion and uncertainty and fear in a lot of cases.